Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Rise Urban Nation. We are in for the treat. 50 years of hip hop, and we got a special group in the building. I can't wait to talk to MCE as we talk about their journey, how they got together, and a little bit about 50 years of hip hop, what that means to them, and what we see in the future. Let's kick it off. My boy said, and look, me and my guy Obafemi was having a conversation, and he knows I'm not gonna let him go without telling the people how he got his name, what his name means. Because anytime I get another African in the room or somebody that's connected to their African ancestry, I got to let them tell a story. So Obafemi, tell them about your name. How you selected this name and what it means.
For sure, man. I'm Obafemi, man, MCE. Yo, so man, back in 2007, man, just learning more about myself, getting into my ancestry, getting into my roots. I end up joining an African centered study group called Petty Soot here in my city, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and I bought this naming book. And this naming book, man, just it had names from different places on the continent, man. And so I was looking in the book, and the words that were attached to this name kind of stood out to me. Now, the book said that Obafemi meant tall and studious.
Yeah.
And so, I'm 6'2", I was, man, like, I was very adamant about my studies at this time point. So I'm like, this name kind of calls out to me, right? So I'm carrying this name, and man, some years later, a brother asked me, he's like, yo, what does Obafemi mean? And I told him what I thought it meant. He was like, nah, bruh, that ain't it. Yeah, man. So I had to do a little more in depth and just start talking to some people, man, that were Yoruba, and they gave me the correct meaning of the name, man. I was like, yo, I got this in this name book, and it told me this. I was like, I don't know where that come from, bro. That ain't it though. Yeah, but so Obafemi is a Yoruba name, man. It means the king loves me, the king favors me. So yeah, that's kind of how that came about.
Yeah, we gotta get you back to the motherland so the king can really favor you. You probably got some treasures waiting out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right. So, and for those who don't know, when you Nigerian culture, every name means something, and the elders usually have a say so in the naming of the next kin, and then that usually determines what it would be. So like my Nigerian given name is Adekunle, which is wealth is around me. And I'm glad to be surrounded with wealth today with MCE. Now, how'd y'all link up? How'd y'all meet up? How'd y'all come up with the name MCE? Tell me that story. Let's go to that story first.
That time I met through a homeboy of ours, Big Grip. So Big Grip was like, man, my guy OB, you know what I'm saying, he make beats. So I was going through, man, and getting beats from him, and after that we just we saw what each other were talking about. We both started, let's do some collabs together and this and that. It kind of went from there because we both on the same mission of what we want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? That's just a short, small version of that. I'm sure bro got enough version. Yeah.
Yeah. So originally we was MCE. So I used to go by the rap name Magnum. So that's where the M came from, and C is the said. So we were MCE. And then like he said, his brother-in-law came on. His name is Eshmelek, so that's the E. So once he came into the group, we just put the E on the end, so it's MCE.
Okay, I love it. Now, You still blowing my mind. Like I was talking to Sam earlier. He's like he originally from uh uh Chicago, but he don't sound like Chicago at all. He got that southern twang in his way. So I'm still
Well,
trying to
you know,
collect my
I ain't
thoughts
going
around
nowhere,
that. Cause
man, in
like
Chicago. You
he
know,
he ain't got no more
I got a
Chicago in him.
Chicago way of
He
thinking
pretty
with
much
certain things. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I must say when I was going through your page and I was checking out some of the soulfulness that I could see a little bit of that soulfulness from the Shine there. I see the a little bit of that South influence. And like I was telling you, like, man, like when I was listening to it, I like, man, this remind me of what hip hop used to be in the 90s. And we on 50 years of hip hop, what like how are you all
Yeah.
feeling, knowing that a lot of what y'all do has so much of the roots
Well,
of what hip
kind of
hop
like,
used to be in
when
that
you saying like the
soulfulness, and we
Chicago
on 50
thing,
years of
the
hip
truth
hop.
be
Like, how
told,
does it
man,
resonate with you?
majority of people from Chicago from the
In
South.
this time and period right now.
Mississippi, you know, some places around there, Arkansas, it's so many people in Arkansas from Chicago. So, all that plays on the line of the 50 years of hip
Mm,
hop because from the South and New Chicago, there was jazz, blues, all that plays into hip hop, sampling, and how we do our flows, what I'm saying? The music we choose to do because that all comes into play. I mean,
mm-hmm.
yeah, 50 years of hip hop, man, that's a long time that just, we were here when hip hop was
Nah.
born. You know what I'm saying? I'm 44. So, yeah, man, so it's like I remember when hip hop wasn't as mainstream as it is to
Mm-hmm.
now it's on every commercial now.
Nah.
That's crazy for itself. No, we around there. We kind of
Nah.
close to it.
Like, I don't think anybody on this call is older than hip hop right now. So,
Yeah, it's no,
what was uh
No, I ain't older than hip hop. No, no.
uh, like and not to sound like the movie, but when did you first fall in love with hip hop?
Yeah, man. I'm born and raised here, Pound of Arkansas, man. So like hip
Like,
hop didn't hit the radio here to like maybe 80 between like 86, 87, 88, something like that. So um but prior to that, like listening to the radio was like soft rock,
mm-hmm,
AM stations, funk,
mm-hmm.
blues, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I heard on the radio growing up. And
Yeah.
so hearing hip hop, like being around some of my older cousins, hearing Curtis Blow, LL Cool J, the Fat Boys, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, man. Salt, and like hearing all this, it
Mm-hmm.
was just like, whoa,
yeah,
this don't sound like my mom and them music. But then
Yeah.
they was sampling some of that music that my parents was listening to. So,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of helped me tap into the older generation's music through hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because of the sampling and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So, it made me have a respect for music that wasn't hip hop by listening to hip hop, man.
Mm, I love that. I love that. Now, did both of you kind of grow up in music households, and um, was that influential into you starting the career side of your music career? Was that anything that you can tap
I had
into
uncles
that
that
was
played the
like, hey,
guitar, in
my
church and
uncle
stuff
used to
like that.
play
Like I
this and
wasn't
we
as
used to
big
do
in the
this,
church,
and
but when I went, they
let me
had
play
their own
around
little
with this
church
a little
singing
bit to
group.
see
But
where
my
it can take
mom
me.
sang and she wrote poetry. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I can probably say that kind of lean me towards the writing and stuff that I do. But as well as
Mm,
my pops, man, he played all types of music, rock and roll,
mm,
Earth, Wind and Fire all the time. So that kind of come into play of as far as like the music that I do. And like you said, I love in hip hop. I just infuse all those things that I've learned and heard into, you know, when
Mm-hmm.
I think
Man.
for me, man, I think more so the beats, the music side of it, caught me first. Like I remember back in the '80s, man. I me and my cousin and my brother, we was talking about starting us a little rap group, but I was too shy, so I didn't want to do no rapping. I wanted to do the beatboxing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I wanted to play the
Yep.
drums growing up, but I was so involved in sports, so I didn't get a chance to take drum lessons, piano lessons, none of that. I was playing sports, man. So
Man.
none of my parents was really like. I mean, we listened to a lot of music, but none of my parents like played instruments. Two of my brothers was in the band, but I think more so like the music, the beats. Like I used to
Mm-hmm.
like beat on the tables, and you know what I'm saying. Like that's really what I first fell in love with, the beats, and so the
Man.
lyrics came later for me.
Gotcha. Do you do are you heavy with the composing of the beats and the samples right now with the group, or is it a little bit of
I'm
all of you take
I don't propose no
kind of
beat.
a stab at it?
Man, yeah, that's a long story, but no, yeah, that's a long story. Yeah, yeah, man. I love production, man. I produced for like maybe 15 years, and as
Yeah.
of lately, though, I hadn't really contributed a lot as far as our music beat wise, man. I just
Oh
been
no, I said
primarily
I don't
writing, but
propose any beats, man. I make a beat in my
yeah,
head
I've
and
done
I might
quite
write
a bit of
write
production over the years, though.
Go ahead, say it. What were you gonna say?
uh,
now, the other thing that I love about y'all group is y'all really, I don't know, you got a lot of substance and some of the stuff that you be talking about, and I feel like you're very conscious. Was that intentional, or is it like sometimes you just whatever's on your heart, you just go into the booth? And then tell me what like what's your process like just to write about some of the topics that you write about, and then really bring it to the world.
Yeah, man. I know for me, man, it's like I kind of started off like you know, I say gangster rap, that type of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I started writing. But just being in the community, like I'm in a majority black city, so all of the social ills that plague black people, it happened here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So just looking around my community, I'm like, man, why is this happening to us? Like why all these different negative statistics attributed to my people, man? People who look like me. So it just made me want to find out that I gotta find some answers, some solutions. So
Mm-hmm.
it just made me be more aware of what I was talking about in my music. Because I'm like, yo, I know for me, like I was fueling my mentality behind some of the music. A lot of the music that I was listening to was pretty rough. You know what I'm saying? So it was fueling my
Mm-hmm.
mentality. So I had to make some changes in my music to because I knew it influenced me. So I said I got to be
Mm-hmm.
more consciously aware of what I talk about in my music. And if I didn't know it, and I consider
you know, we
myself intelligent,
we
I'm
all
like, man, I
fathers too.
know a whole
You
lot
know,
of
so
people don't know
our
about this
sons and
stuff. So
daughters listen to our
I gotta I
music,
gotta put it in the
and
music, man. So
it's purposely being
Mm-hmm.
conscious of what we putting out. It's a work in progress on something like in my music. I've learned to put some of that profanity to the side. Trying to find a better way of saying what I gotta say. That's all due process, but consciously, man, like he said, just knowing the community and knowing we live in it, knowing your voice can make a difference. That's what I choose to do with my music.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? As far as my voice.
Yeah, I love that. And speaking of things that plague the community, they often throughout generations they say that the poets, the musicians, the artists are the true truth tellers of if you go back and listen to any era generation that you can get a sense of history of the truth tellers that told the stories of what's really going on out there in the world. And sometimes the truth tellers also had the answers too. So when you're doing this whole process, in your humble opinion, like what the things that you see going on in your city, like what do you think is the biggest problems that keep us from prevailing as black folks in the community? Like why is this happening to us, and
Good question.
what can we do to
Yeah.
elevate out of these circumstances?
Man, that's a that's like the $1 million question. um, but I think a lot of it stems around identity, man. Like
Yeah.
we I think that was what W.B. Du Bois said. We had a double consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah.
we're being socialized to be something that we're not, and we're trying hard
Mm.
to fit in the system that wasn't designed for us. You know what I'm saying? So it on one side we want to be who we are, but the system is saying you need to be this way in order to survive, and in order to this. But so we kind of like battling within our heads about
Yeah.
being unapologetically who we are, or altering yourself to be more palatable to the dominant society, man. So
Mm-hmm.
um I think that's a lot of what we deal with, man. Like self
Yeah.
identity. We our people here, especially in the United States, man, suffer from identity crisis.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Identity crisis. Say it.
I know.
What's your
I know.
take
My
on it?
take on it is, man. A lot of
I
it comes
know
from like
identity
a
crisis is
poverty
one
stricken,
lens that we look at, but give me your take.
environment. So we spend our time trying to get money, which is capital, which is we don't understand what the real money is. We just think by any means we can get money, whether it's robbing, whether it's, you just want some money. So even like when we doing our music, we talked
Mm.
about this before. A lot of guys know what's going on. They probably want to talk about what's going on, but they stick to what they got to stick to get paid because that's that's kind of the phase we in. The issue comes in when we do get paid. What are we doing with the money? You know what I'm saying? Like we putting it back in the
Mm.
community. Are we trying to? You know what I'm saying? That's gonna make the difference of we trying to get the bag thing. So to me, yeah, it's
Mm.
in a society that's capitalistic as this one is, the man that makes the money is the one they look at the most. You know what I'm saying? You got star athletes like Jordan, and I don't know him personally, but I'm saying he may be the worst person in the world, but because he's making money and because he can do what he can do to make money, he's looked at as a guy. They making statues of him. So to me, it's the capital uh, and how it's used and how they manipulate us.
Mm. Man.
Yeah, what's up?
And then we got our guy E with us.
Hey, hey, hey.
E, welcome to the
Fill me in. What's going
conversation.
on? What you talking about?
So we man, we you joined at the perfect time. We were talking about the consciousness of the music that you guys released, and looking at I was saying that the poets, the artists, and so forth. When you look any generation of time, they're usually the truth tellers of that generation that tell you what's really going on, and sometimes through that truth telling, they also had the answers and the questions that we need to be answering when we look at how to better society. And then that's sparked this
Right.
conversation of like, all right, what's going on with our black community, right? Um, what is it that we see going on, and how do we elevate out of our circumstances? What's affecting us that we can't get out of the circumstances that most of our communities are into? And so we were having a rich discussion around that. So why don't you jump in? Let me get your level of consciousness of what you think
Okay.
is going on, as
Okay.
pertaining to the black community.
Uh, uh,
Eh,
It's going to get back to, I feel like, our having our own education system, uh, having some type of culture that
Mm-hmm.
we all can identify with, and creating that and making it unique to ourselves, like everyone has one
Mm.
unique to themselves. Uh, our young men nor our young women are having rites of passage that welcome them to adulthood, and as well as there's not
Mm.
anyone stepping up to teach them those rites of passage. So you know, so without all of that in play, then of course everything is going to be degenerative that our youth will look towards or be able to produce, because I mean. Uh, uh,
Mm-hmm.
the nuclear family, as far as the black nuclear family, has been undermined, you know, to levels, they're just like, wow, and it all starts in the home. It all starts in the home, but, that's my take on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take on
Yeah. So, but not but, and what I'm thinking about when I hear you talk about that, one, I want you to break down rites of passage, what that kind of means to you, because I think sometimes in the black community we all have different things of what that means, rites of passage, especially with these youngins nowadays that's out here toting rites of passage may mean something different for them. It's like, all right, I gotta I gotta go get jumped in, or I gotta you know go make this triple this stack and get this work right. um and then on the other thing with the family front, I feel like we have a lot of healing to do in our black communities and black families.
it.
There's so many broken black families, and that's done intentionally. I know where our men are being taken out of the homes, being put into into these
Yeah.
institutional systems, whether it be jail or whatever, right? And then the re-education of the strong black woman that don't need no man, and that then we don't have
All of this is a result of the
a
destruction
collective
of the
household,
black
right?
nucleus family. All of this is the fallout of that we're experiencing with our
Mm-hmm.
youth, with the dynamics that's going on within the homes nowadays, with these new age neo families, these new metro whatever, and trans whatever, and whatever. All of this is due to the destruction. The not the where the black family, we see families in every other culture, and they have culture to go back when they get sick and tired of what's going on over here. They have a culture they can defer to bring them back, to reground them. We don't have that. It all we don't have that. So these rites of passage that I was talking about, uh, I mean, every culture has it except for these so-called African Americans over here, but every other culture has, they have rites of passage that they're used to go through, you know, to be able to be
Right.
citizens and and have all the full benefits of that country. They got to serve in the war at 13 years. Some of those countries they have to participate in the military. They go through they serve have service to their country and haven't put forth that country. It's like anybody that's been to the military, not anybody, but people who are patriotic is because they served in the military. They have an affinity with the nation, and that's the point. That's some of the rite of passage of young men and young women across the globe or across the planet. Whichever you prefer. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Nah.
So without that in play, man,
So I'm
everything that
thinking
we're
too.
trying to do, everything we want to do, unless we get back, find a way to find something that all of us, and we all identify with being black, but we need to see what else we can identify with, as far as what is a culture for us. You know, we need to come together. We need to come together on that, so we can.
Like,
That way, we can have our own agri- agriculture system. We can have our own educational system. We can all have our own holistic systems, all holistic systems as far as medicines and everything, well-being and stuff as far as our people is concerned. Because every other culture has that.
Nah. Now, one would argue, and I'm gonna bring my brother Obafame to the conversation, and the reason why I'm bringing him into the conversation of this too is because I was born here in the U.S., but I had a Nigerian father, and so I was grounded in African Nigerian culture, right? And so when U.S. mainstream culture went to left, that
You
African
have,
culture grounded
yeah,
me
you
like,
have
nope,
grounding.
this is what we do,
Right.
right? When you think about, and I know you chose this name and it gave you a meaning and then gave you something. I don't know if it gave you a grounding, but can you say it gave you grounding when you were looking for something? Just speaking to that, and then what is everybody's thoughts on? We were all Africans before we were Black Americans. Could we get grounded back in Africa? Could that be a ground for us?
I mean, that's a good question, man. I know for me on my journey, um, it's like you learn stuff about uh, your blackness and stuff. I learned about the Panthers and the civil rights movement, and what I'm saying, the Nation of Islam. So I was learning stuff here and there. Um, just a quick story, man. I was talking to this sister, and I had ordered some books online from some brothers out of New York. They were five percenters, the Nation of Gods and Earths,
Mm-hmm.
and the bookstore was closed. The online bookstore had been closed for 2 years, and they end up contacting me by phone. It was like, "Yo, bro, man, I'm glad we got a hold to you. They told me the bookstore was closed. Like, we sending your money back. Yada yada yada." All right. I was talking to a sister at the time though, and she said, there's a African bookstore, in your city. I'm like, what? I'm like, you lying. She took me to the shop. And I'm like, man, I've been passing by this place like almost my whole life, man. And I guess it just wasn't time for me to see it. And so going into the bookstore, my elder started giving me, pamphlets, information, DVDs, and really opened my eyes to some things that I had seen throughout my life and heard, but just didn't really put all those pieces together. So I would say that, yeah, prior to us identifying ourselves as African Americans, like, I mean, black people African Americans are an African people. We are African before we were anything else. Um, And so, to me, for me, utilizing what I've learned historically and through culture has helped to give my life more meaning, has helped to ground me in more, I would say, our own value systems, principles, and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, when you see stuff going left and right, it's like, we blow with the wind, we blow with the trend, so this starts trending, you see black folks run the left here, the trend change and we run to the right, but when you rooted in culture, like, it helps to give you some grounding and a stronger foundation. Um, that's going to be there's some cultural exchange that has to happen though, some serious
My phone,
cultural exchange that
my
has
phone
to
saying it's
happen
about to overheat,
from
so I
us
might
here.
have to. It said it's gonna shut down in 20 seconds. Guys,
Okay, no
Okay.
worries, no worries.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say just that cultural exchange, man, from continental Africans, to Africans in the diaspora, the Caribbean, wherever we at, having these conversations, like, your experience with having a father who's Nigerian gives you a more unique experience being here, being raised in the United States, but having that aspects of direct culture.
Yeah.
Like I'm not searching on my family tree to find somebody who's connected to the continent. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's a little
Mm.
different than a lot of you know African American experience. You know, so a lot of us have. I would say, you know what? I don't know nothing about it, so ain't no use in me trying to be that no more. We Native Americans, we this, we that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we latch
Mm-hmm.
on to all kind of other things, man. And the most obvious connection,
No, me.
we like, you know what?
Well,
I ain't even going to try to explore
uh,
that, man. So
you
Mm.
asking what keeps
Go
you
ahead,
grounded,
say it. You
right?
was about to jump in there. Yeah. So I mean,
Uh huh.
because what I was saying when we we were Africans before we became black or African American, right? And when you think about grounding, as we were talking about, wouldn't it make sense for us to ground ourselves in our roots by like tracing it back to the motherland and then having that level of consciousness that allows us to be grounded, so we're not just floating with the trends, or we get lost in the wind, or whatever analogy you want to use in that. And maybe you don't agree with that. I just want to get your thoughts on that, and then what do you think
Like the
is
music.
necessary as far as
Man,
grounding,
I
so
agree with
that
that,
we
man.
can
You know, we were
regain our
African.
sense of consciousness and
Well, not
culture
were.
in
We
the
are
black
African.
community
You
that's
know,
in the diaspora.
I mean, hell, I did a DNA test and came back 95% was African. You know what I'm saying? So there's no avoiding that part. You know, I ain't gonna. Well, I'm 3% Indian. You know, so the truth is what it is. But the matter of
Mm,
things to me that keeps me grounded is I know that every single day that we are in this place we call America is a warfare going on, and whether it's on the food, on the music, on the TV, on the education, on everything that like he just got through saying, that's how they look at it.
mm,
So if you have an understanding that that's what's going on, and you have no choice but to to stay grounded and understand like I gotta do what I gotta do to keep battling against
mm,
all this that keeps us. Yeah. So understanding me being African is the first part I have to understand, because that's the part of the reason why they're at war with us, because they know who we are, but they don't want us to know it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I definitely agree, man. You know that we were African first, and
mm.
that's it. There's nothing else here. You know what I'm saying? We can say we African American, but come on, like let's be real. Like, yeah, you can't even vote 40, 50 years ago, man. Now you can vote. Like, come on, man. Like, we can't sit around and fool ourselves, man.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. And I want to have a serious conversation
Yeah.
about grounding as black men in America, because I'm still struggling with that concept, if I'm being honest, with how to stay grounded as a black man in America, because as soon as I leave out my house, there's so much that I have
Mm-hmm.
to be aware of, and so much that I have to navigate as soon as I leave my house. Even when I'm in my house, there's things I have to navigate, right? Like I have to be mindful if I'm in a neighborhood where, there's spectators, and if me and my wife have an argument, not to get
Yeah.
too upset, because if the neighbors get worried and
Yeah.
they paint a different
Yeah.
story, I may be in a position where I can't defend myself, and I can't defend my family, right? Um, Even with my fellow brother, man, even though I want to help all my brothers out, I could be in a situation where, I was talking to some young kids the other day, and it's like, yo, I like I can't even not be tough. Like I gotta, because if I walk down the street of this neighborhood and they think I'm soft, they're gonna test me, right? So I gotta walk with a mean mug from here to here and pretend that I'm this tough guy,
Yeah.
or attribute to being a tough guy, so that I don't get my card pulled, or I don't get tested, right? There's so many things that we psychologically we can't do as black men in America, and I think it's really not allowing us to be grounded in the way that we need to be grounded, so that we can get in touch with the emotional side. We can get in touch with this. We can cry when we want to cry, break down, and like I can see a brother and hug him because he's crying because something tragic happened to him, and so he can
I know
heal.
one of our sisters is
I'm struggling with that, if
what is
I'm
it,
being
bro? Black
honest.
love equals black power.
How do we stay
You know what I'm
grounded in
saying?
all that?
Right.
And to me that's a slogan that's far removed. You know what I'm saying? Because we talk
Yeah.
about all the time, like even when brothers was out here in the streets, like in the 60s and 70s, you know what I'm saying, and doing what they were doing, you still heard love in the music. They still understood, I love Big Mama. I love my family, even though I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? That's the love part that we have, especially the black love part for ourselves,
Mm,
is been far removed from us. I I can say it like this, man. We don't understand to the depths of like what crack did to us. Like crack
mm,
came in, and if you can remember, like a lot of that love that we had for each other, that went with crack, because we lost a sense of
mm,
ourselves with this drug. And not only did the drug hit us at the time, but drug our love down even to now,
mm.
because now you got children through the years had that in their system. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just so many factors, like even with what I just said, that play along with why we lost so much love in the community. Because as a man, we don't want to expound on that as far as when it comes to black love.
Yeah, just to add on a little bit, man. Like you said, that black love equals black power. That love for ourself. You know,
Mm,
loving your brother. Am I my brother's keeper? Like, am I willing to look out for my brother's best interest? You know what I'm saying? Versus more in a predatory type of
Another one
mindset.
is
Like we're being groomed to not be collaborative. We're groomed to be competitors to one another. So instead of us trying to work together, we kind of groomed to be competing, you know what I'm saying, for so-called scarce resources. So if I got to step on you to get that little bit of resource over there, I'm gonna have to do it. Like this is a mentality that we're being bred with, generationally, man, that we've been bred with this type of mentality. So how does that change? Like you said, it starts with it. I would say it starts with us. It starts with men, because we are supposed to be the front line defense for the whole community. Like the
mhm,
women would be behind us, the children would be behind the women. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is supposed to go, it's supposed to be the men, right? Until us as men start to deal with some of our serious issues, that's individually and collectively, our community will not prosper, man. A lot of the madness that we deal with is because that men ain't being men. And I wouldn't say it's all our
yeah,
fault. Like I said, we socialize and educated in a system that's not properly preparing us to be men. That like he was
mm,
talking about the rites of passage program, stuff like this. Like, we're not socialized to be men. If you remember back in the 60s and 70s, they had the slogan, if you get out of line, I'ma call the man on you. Well, who was the man? It wasn't
mm,
us. You understand what I'm saying? So If you calling the man on me, and I'm standing here, a grown male, I'm gonna call the man on you. You talking about the other that the wife that they the man. So I'm relegated to maleness. You know what I'm saying? I'm a boy. I'm a player. I'm a pimp. I'm a hustler. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be all of these things that they left open because they took manhood. They define what manhood is. You know what I'm saying? The most sinister. I'll be the most murderous. I'll be the most. And so if we ain't willing to do that, it says our manhood is diminished because
Yeah.
we're trying to follow somebody
I
else's
know with me,
standard of what
man, like the
manhood
song
is. You know,
KRS One
it
had,
goes
"Love's gonna
back to
get you."
culture and
You know
heritage
what
to
I'm
me,
saying?
man.
It's kind of like that's my take on when I say black love equals black power. Like, what do you love? You know what I'm saying? And what is our definition of that? You know what I'm saying? Because if it is the money, if it is the drug, if it is all that, then we lost. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the war we got to lose. You know?
Right.
Damn. Like, jump on in here
Oh, I'm
if you
still
still
here.
there.
No, I can't add anything to that. um,
Like,
yeah,
well, I mean, not to call you old school, but like old school, how we stay grounded? Like, how do we get back to these relics and gems you bestowed upon us? We know that's part of the answer, but how do we get there? I don't know.
man. We're gonna have to uh, get out the game and get in the bleachers and look at it from that point of
Mm,
view of what's going on. You know, we can't be down in the field trying to fix it or trying to see the play. We can't see it like the people in the field can see. The people in the bleachers can see it. The highest bleachers, they can see what play you should have made, but you can't see it. And so we need to,
mm,
you know, man, what we have going now, that it is they keep trying to renew it and make it better, but it's not working. It's had
mm,
more than enough time to work, and it's not giving us the results we need as a people. So it's still got to go
mm,
back to. Yeah, I get what you were saying, bro. That what's over there in Africa that we can ground ourselves to, but it's nothing over there in Africa we can ground on to. But it's 48 to 54 nations over there. We need our own. We need to
mm,
something that we as a people, because we're unique among all black people. Overpayment, will can speak to that too. What our experiences have made us unique among all black people because of what we endured that they did not endure. So it has bred a new
mm,
type of black person over here that look at all the wonderful inventions and stuff. No other, body is doing that, has done that in the past 100 years or more. No other recorded black person. It's just us over here because the things we've been through have conditioned us and like you test gold and fire, it has proven us, you know, that we are, so we need a system. We need to ground us. We need localized culture that we all can agree upon. It don't have to be tied to Africa. It doesn't have to be tied because there's so many things over there that it's going to be trying to bring it over here and make it. It's not going to work. So we need something different, something
mm.
unique to us because we're a unique people. And if we
Man.
can do that, then because all these remedies they got going on and trying to do the school system and trying to do this and trying to keep this out the libraries and trying to be inclusive and there
I
it's
mean,
it's
for
too many hands in the pot. It's too many
one,
cooks.
man, we gotta
Too many
realize
cooks.
we
And,
Africans.
and, and then they
I
cooking
mean,
food that we don't eat,
that's all of us.
you
You know
know.
what I'm saying? Like, we gotta
It's not good for
realize
us. It's
Mm,
not sustaining us.
that's who we are. And then I mean, we're gonna come to the table and then we're gonna put other things in front of being African. It's not gonna work. It's gonna be the same thing. You know, it's gonna be if you gonna put being a Christian in front of African, if you're gonna put Muslim in front of African, if you're gonna put you know what I'm saying, being the blood in front of that, then
So it
nah,
is.
man, it ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta come to that realization first.
I heard a proverb, something like that, that when if a man eats the lion becomes a part of him. But if the lion eats the man becomes a part of the lion. And in this system, we've eaten that, and it should be the reverse. You know, we should be the lion, the man eating the lion as far as the system is concerned, and as far as we taking
Mm.
ourselves.
Yeah, and I like that because but I think a part of that too is and this is the whole reason why I started this podcast too, because I would go out and I would go as I educate myself, I would educate others, and I had opportunities to bring back to the community, and I would go into these communities
Yeah.
and talk to these young brothers and sisters,
Right.
and um, I started to realize that they can't be what they can't see, right? They, they can't be the conscious black male that they want to be because they don't see enough of us having these conversations and doing that and being real family men, guiding our families, getting them to the next place they need them to be in life. And I need them to see
No,
more of this. I need to see more conscious rappers. I need to see they can't see, they
yeah.
can't be what they can't see. And I think media has done a good job at displaying the image of what they want the black man to be, what they want the black
Oh
family
no,
to
I was
be.
agreeing with you, man.
But we have to take
I was,
our ownership back.
like you
Go
saying,
ahead,
take
say
it
what were you
back.
gonna
This
say?
right here is a start of taking it back because just doing this media right here is a start towards
Oh, okay.
a fight against all the media
Um,
they're putting out right now. You know,
nah, nah, nah. And that's why I love what y'all do on the music front because it's a whole different one. It's soulful. I love it. Like it just I don't know. It just hits
because
me. I saw brother
really,
E singing something. I don't know. I don't even know what he was scatting. He was scatting something, but it was singing to my soul. It was food for my soul. I was like, I don't know what brother E saying, but it's doing something to my soul.
Already.
I, it was the video where you was outside on the stoop and you was doing something, and I couldn't distinguish all the words at the time, but yeah, let's just say. Nah, nah. And speaking of cycles, where is MCE in this cycle of bringing us this soulfulness? Well, give us the breakdown. Where we at in the cycle? How can we continue to be on this movement with y'all? And what are you guys doing?
Man, so um, as it relates to like you said, the 50 years of hip hop, man. I would say we've been intentional about the type of music that we make. Um, so we just finished the project. MCE presents. We got an EP we about to drop called "Food, Clothing, and Shelter,"
Mm.
which we did a EP before that called "Red, Black, and Green." Today is the birthday of Marcus Garvey, so definitely didn't want to leave that out. But yeah, so this is our second EP we're about to drop. We got another project that we've been working on. It's been in the chamber for a minute. Knowledge of Self, Volume 3, Coal Mines.
Mm.
So that'll be they say the LP. Yeah, that'll be an LP. But yeah,
Sad, what's your favorite on there? What you want to talk about when it comes to this project that you really enjoyed?
man, I just love how it all combines together. You know, food, clothes, and shelter because that's some stuff that you know a necessity. You know what I'm saying? We all like to eat. We all like to dress fresh. You know what I'm saying? So, it's, nah, on the real though, man. it's a necessity, man, because what I'm saying, from the perspective of over time, man, our people were murdered, enslaved, and beaten for these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was out there picking food, picking cotton, different stuff like that. Getting cane sugar and stuff like that, man. Getting the cotton to make the clothes that some of us couldn't even wear. So shelter. Yeah, we didn't have it. Sheltered us in the bottom of a ship. So all that got so many different meanings on the perspective of, what I'm saying, how we can look at food, clothes, and shelter. Because right now, a lot of us can say, I'm doing good. But once upon a time, what I'm saying, your ancestors weren't doing good. What I'm saying? They couldn't they couldn't say, well, me look at my refrigerator, man, see what I'm eating today. So I mean, we really got to take that perspective, man. When we talk about food, clothes, and shelter, and I think that's kind of where we come with
it. We appreciate you, old school. We appreciate you. But that goes back to your comment, what you were saying about the cycles, right? Like we returning back to the cycle where that energy was going, the natural hair. We get more conscious about our health. We rest in peace, Dr. Sebi. We listening to his messages now, like, oh, Dr. Sebi was trying to tell us the truth, right? Yeah, and I think that's helping us regain our consciousness and get out of the cycle just a little bit. And the music that you guys and the soulfulness that you coming in the conversation and dialogue that you're offering here today is helping to rechange that energy, that cycle, and shift and create this new movement. When you look at the future of the brilliant, amazing work that MCE is doing, and we look at the Black community, what does the future have in store for what you guys are doing, and the industry that you're in? Is it, do you see yourselves changing the industry, or will you not be a part of the industry? I don't know. What does this look like?
Yeah. So,
it.
you,
Great
you
question.
know, yeah, that is a great question, man. You know, I would say, man, and I quote this a lot. During the black arts movement of the late '60s, early '70s, Amiri Baraka said that the role of the artist is to raise the consciousness of the people, and
Sure.
and so I think, like, our purpose behind why we do the music isn't exclusively economic based. Like, it's, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, that's not to say we ain't trying to get no money. That's just saying, like, we're not driven to create what we're creating just for profit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, that's a testament to our longevity to continue to do the type of music that we do. Our fans embracing what we do, getting the chance to travel and do shows and stuff like that, man. It's like, just to see people embracing and saying, man, y'all, like,
Yeah.
we've been some places and people telling us, man, y'all need to be on the radio. Y'all need to be on this. Y'all need to be on this thing. Y'all need to be on, so it's like, I know we got the talent and things like that, but I also understand how the industry works.
Yeah.
And unless there's a revolution in the industry, like, the industry is gonna keep being the industry. So I don't really see a return to
No.
this type of music in mainstream. Mainstream. What I say is, we have to create our own stream to filter in the type of music and media and things that we need, because the mainstream is gonna
Yeah.
continue to be that. We got to create our own streams to filter to our own people of what we need, what we must have, man. So this,
That,
like I
that's
said,
what you
your
said.
platform is part of that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, say it.
No, I was saying, I was agreeing with him. I said, this is what that is right here, man. What we doing right now, creating our own stream.
Man, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, man, I feel like I could talk to y'all brothers forever, but I try not to turn it into a church sermon. So let's let's wrap it up like this. You kind of tell me some of the projects you're working on. Any other projects you're working on, and then how can people connect with you? And then let's head out with any last words of wisdom that you want to give to the people.
Or I know
Yeah, no doubt.
be good at the the ending. But I'm gonna say, man, right now, not only do we do music, but we also have a community garden that we work on. So be looking out for some videos that we're gonna put out about the stuff that we grow in the garden, like informational videos and stuff like that. So be looking out for that as well. It's GSC Community Garden, Grow Something Channel Garden.
Nice. I love that. And then where can they get information on that?
Yeah, so we got a YouTube channel. We on Facebook, Instagram with the Community Garden. That's GSC Gardens or GSC Community Gardens. That's Instagram, Facebook, as well as we have a YouTube channel. As far as finding MCE, our music is on all streaming platforms. MCE SolMuzik, SolMuzik. We on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You can find all our music, interviews, live performances. We do our own podcast called Soul Speaks as well. So just having these conversations like we having today, man. So yeah, we can find that individually. You can find Nine Over Femi on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all at 9Obafemi. Oba Femi. Femi. So
Peace, love, and soul. Hey, there you go. Peace, love, and soul. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And don't worry, I'm gonna make sure I connect with these brothers, get all their information, all their links, and put it in the show notes. MCE, we appreciate you. We salute you. Thank you for doing what you do. I'm gonna shoot my shot. Can I get on the Soul podcast? Like, I don't know. Am I a type of guest that can fit on there? Maybe I could come on and bless it one time if that's okay with y'all.
Man, we can make something happen, man. Yeah.
All right, that's it. You heard it here first. Rise Urban Nation. I'm gonna come on a podcast too, and we gonna have some more great conversation. Thank you, brothers. Keep doing what you do, and peace, love, and soul.
Already.